So you just graduated high school and now you're probably starting to plan for college around this point. Cool. Most people say that college is the most memorable and fun times in their lives, but no one ever spends time talking about what it was like before then, what it was like leading up to college. And if you were like me last year, I bet you were probably pretty nervous slash excited about it too. All right, so no more yapping. Let's get straight into the no BS college advice that I have today. So just for some quick context, I go to the University of Michigan, which is a pretty big school. There's about 40,000 kids there probably. And I also study engineering. So as a certified yapper myself, I am pretty extroverted. So just take what I say here, with a grain of salt. Let that be known. I'm just throwing that out there for now. Okay, so my first point is to always, always, always say hi to people. Like, just even if you barely recognize someone, or even if you never talked to that person before, but you just know what they look like, just say hi to them. I think a lot of people are in that high school mindset of, oh, I've seen this person so many times and I haven't said hi to them forever, so I'll just ignore them and we'll go on our own ways. But in college, there's so many people that you probably won't even see that person again if you say hi and they're the wrong person. And if they are the right person, then it shows that you took that initiative, and that's a very important thing to do in college. And with social relationships, it really shows that you care about that person and that you're willing to put in effort. And most people are really trying to find a place to fit in, especially in the first few weeks of college. And if you're the one that's there to take the initiative and be like, hey, what's good? People are going to gravitate towards that. People like having that comfortable feeling of someone that can say hi to them. It really helps you get better at having these impromptu conversations, and that's what helps you bring up your social skills as well. For myself, I would literally just go to the dining hall and I'd see someone I knew and I'd just go talk to them. And I found that I'd have a lot of organic chemistry with some of these people that I never realized I had before. It doesn't really matter if you're an extrovert or an introvert. I think the worst case scenario is that you're shy. And being shy is different from being introverted or extroverted, because if you are one of the two, you still know and understand that you need to talk to people. And it's important to branch out. So for my motivation behind this, I just kind of don't want to become like that type of person who sits in their dorm and plays games all the time. And if that is you and you do prefer that, I think there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I also think that reaching out has kind of opened myself up to a lot of different interactions and exposure that I wouldn't have gotten before. So really, diversity is really important in who you're around. Obviously, if you're a guy, try and talk to some girls. Try and talk to people that don't look like you, people that have different thought processes than you do. And same thing, vice versa. If you're a girl, talk to guys, right? It's important because in the real world, you're going to be talking with everybody. So I think it's important to do that. And it also just brings in a lot of interesting thoughts from other people. So really, TLDR for point one, take the initiative. You're an adult now. Okay, so my second point is breaking through walls. And what I mean by this is to not just seize any opportunity that you can get, but also to create your own. So what I mean by this is that, for starters, in college, you're exposed to a lot of resources for the first time, whether that be people, whether that be books, professors, or just software platforms. You get a lot of different things. And for myself, I want to make the most out of these resources. What I like to do is just not stop until I get or figure out the thing that I'm looking for. So an example that I have of this is just reaching out to seniors and upperclassmen and talking to them. Now, I know I'm not going to just say, oh, cold email some random senior or hit them up on LinkedIn or something, but there are always seniors around you. For example, I recently talked to someone that was a TA for my class. I really didn't know them that well, but I saw them in public, just hanging around campus once, and I was like, oh, what's up? And after that, we kind of just sparked a good conversation, and it pretty much snowballed into a pretty good relationship. The thing with talking with people that are older than you is that they are a few steps ahead of you. And the nice thing is that they can give you advice on where you might want to be in the future. In addition, they also give you access to referrals if they're working in positions that you might want to work to too. I'm not trying to sound too transactional about these relationships, because it's still important to really be genuine with the people that you hang around, and understanding that every person that you're around is still a person and that they're not a statistic. But yes, another important point that I know a lot of people will say is going to office hours. Again, how does this have anything to do with opportunity, right? But you don't realize that professors are literally like a life hack to college. So most people just go to office hours for help. But even if you don't need help, I still recommend, if you can find the time, to just pull up. Like, your professors will love it if you showed up, and they'll remember your face. When you bridge that gap between yourself and the professor, again, that's just another genuine connection that you have. And the professor also knows a lot of resources, and they can help you out if they're really willing to. So in my experience, in my first semester, I went to physics office hours like once or twice every week. Through that, I actually got a tutoring position really easily, and I didn't even have to apply for it. He just gave it to me. Like, my professor was just like, damn, you're chill. All right, sounds good. Do you want to work for me? And I was like, all right, bet. Easiest connection. All I had to do was show up and put in some effort into showing him that I was interested in the class. And I think it's like having that extra purpose in going to office hours and talking with professors, because again, they are still people too. Cultivating these friendships is important because it can also help you out in the long run. So TLDR for point 2, it helps to get to know your resources as well as possible. So for number 3, keep an open mind. Basically, just say yes to as many things as you can, unless it's something that you know could get you in trouble or could be potentially dangerous or harmful to you. Like, obviously don't jump off of a 2-story frat house or do something inappropriate. You are still an adult. You should still be treating other people with respect, right? But say yes to as many opportunities or friendships or even hangouts as you can. And so sometimes it is okay to hang out with your friend at 3 a.m. when you feel like you should be sleeping, because honestly, that's when the most memorable events happen in college. That's when you have the most genuine conversations too sometimes. So staying on the topic of keeping an open mind, I'd recommend that honestly anybody at least hit up like one party, because it's a very interesting experience and it's something that you won't really get too much of outside of college. And this also adds on to being open-minded, because you still want to try something new. And obviously going to parties, make sure to be safe, right? But maybe you can find them fun and you'll definitely meet some people going into those as well. Okay, so that kind of wraps up saying yes to as many things as you can. On the flip side of that, it's also important, I think, to understand that everyone in college kind of has their own priorities. Like, some people are there to work hard and just work hard. Some people are there to work hard and play hard. Some people are there to just play hard. Everyone's got their own shit to do. And in understanding that everyone's on their own path and has their own priorities is important to gauge who you want to be around and also what types of people you want to be around. But again, don't let this stop you from meeting people that are different than you or have different priorities than you, because again, college is just a big melting pot. I feel like it's really worthwhile exploring that to its fullest extent. And finally, make sure to validate what other people say. Like, I know it's important to listen and keeping that open mind of what other people are telling you and saying to you. But on the other hand, like, you also want to make sure that what other people are saying to you is actually true or is actually useful for yourself. Since everyone's in their different positions and everyone's doing their own things, something that someone says might not be applicable to you as much. So this is especially true for advice, especially when it comes down to classes too, right? And even what I'm telling you right now, like, I want you to go and validate that. And right now, just take it with a grain of salt until you figure it out for yourself, whether or not it's true or not. So point number 4, on top of keeping an open mind, which was point 3, take care of your own mind, because it's really important for self-care. Like, don't ruin yourself when you go to college. Make sure that you at least have some guardrails for yourself and just don't go, absolutely bonkers. So one way I do this is having a hobby. Like, for me, I play piano. Every time I get back to the dorm and it's like 9 or 10, I'll just hit a little jam sesh in the lobby, play for about 30 minutes to an hour, and just relax, give myself a break. Maybe you could just find that one skill you've been really wanting to do for the past while, and there's plenty of time in college. So once you get settled down, give yourself some time, try something new, and just do something that's good for your soul. On top of having a hobby, do self-care. Self-care is important too. Remember to reflect on your experience and just kind of keep track of your thoughts. You don't have to write it down like a journal, for example, but talking through your thoughts with other people really For me, it helps me exercise my own mind like I am doing right now, but it also makes me feel more aware of what I'm doing, and it makes me feel like I'm more in the moment. So I'll move on to the last point, which is have fun. Yeah, have fun. There's no explanation for this one. Everyone has fun in their own way, and it's important to go find what makes your life fun, and that's something that I am still looking for in college too, and I know a lot of other people are, but doing things that help you enjoy your time down the ride and making college that unforgettable chunk of a lifetime that everyone says it is really what makes it so unique and memorable. All right, so that's all the advice I have. Maybe I'll have more advice next year. I might make another video. So yeah, until then, good luck at college. I'll see y'all later, and peace out.